Good morning, YouTube. Joel here from the CryptoByte team. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about the cryptocurrency Stellar Lumens. Now, this currency is quite popular because it's ranked 8 on CoinMarketCap and has a total supply of 103 billion. And with a large supply, we can always just assume that the price is going to be quite low, where the price is at 47 cents, almost at 50 cents. And so in December, the price was at 30 cents, and then there was this massive pump in the price where it went all the way up to 90 cents. And then from there, we've kind of hit that January dip kind of time period, and the prices slowly fluctuated downward where there was resistance, but over time it kind of just reached a point where it hit 30 cents after all the downward fluctuations. Then in February, early February, it was at 30 cents, and then from there, Bitcoin has started to recover, and when Bitcoin recovers, all the other altcoins usually recover too, and that definitely includes Stellar. So from 30 cents, Stellar Lumens has slowly gone up all the way up to 50 or almost 50 cents, 47 cents, and it's consistently on the rise, which is a very good sign for all you Stellar holders out there. And yeah, this potentially means that the coin can go all the way back up to maybe around 60 cents very soon. This is only potential, not actual financial advice. I'm not too sure, but there is a good chance that it will happen. And so what is Stellar? And Stellar Lumens, this wonderful article from coincentral.com gives us like a good guide on what Stellar Lumens is. So Stellar Lumens advertises itself as an open source distributed payments infrastructure built on the premise that the international community needs a worldwide financial network open to anyone. So pretty much just saying it's a medium of payment for the whole world to use. So you can send money from one place to another regardless of where it is in the world, and it's nice and quick. So this is quite similar to the cryptocurrency Ripple, but there are just a few differences here and there which we'll touch on across the video. And so how does Stellar Lumens work? So like most all other cryptocurrencies, Stellar Lumens bears the buzzword that is the hallmark of all blockchain technology, decentralization. So Stellar Lumens is quite a decentralized cryptocurrency, and in terms of its technology, it's not as decentralized as other cryptocurrencies, and I will touch on that later as well. So let's just continue with the article. So the Stellar network runs on a web of decentralized servers. Again, I'll just touch on it now actually because I just don't want to keep having to say this. The Stellar network is it's decentralized in a sense that they like to spread out authority across all the networks that it has, all the servers that it has across the world. But the Stellar, basically similar to Ripple, it has a set of servers that kind of span across the world, but they're all connected in kind of a blockchain type like structure. So instead of decentralized, it's more in a sense distributed than anything else. And distributed and decentralized, you can't really say it's the same thing, but I guess Stellar, in a way, it is distributed in terms of its technology, but it's decentralized in terms of the way the authority and confirmations work across the whole system. And that's pretty much the summary of the whole technology and how it works. So in practice, the Stellar protocol will function like a more inclusive, flexible PayPal. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's basically like PayPal, but with larger access to the whole of the world, pretty much. So to start using Stellar, you would need to upload funds to an anchor to the network, much like a bank or PayPal. This anchor then holds your money and issues credit to your virtual wallet instead. So it is basically like an online PayPal, again, but with a larger reach, and it's also distributed and semi-decentralized. And so you might be wondering why you need to exchange debit for credit with an anchor in the first place. Well, anchors serve as a bridge for any given currency in the Stellar network. And the swap allows you to formally convert your funds into the Stellar public ledger. So you're basically just hooking everything up together, and once you've got your currency in there, it gets you the lumens, which is the currency that runs on the Stellar network, the XLM, and it pretty much just lets you use the credit on that area. So it's pretty solid, and this integration means you can send funds instantly on the network without having to wait for a bank transfer. As with PayPal, it also streamlines cross-border payments. Let's say you want to send funds to your impoverished expat brother living in France, and you would use your credited USD balance to shoot him funds through the Stellar network. and Stellar would then automatically convert the USD to EUR using the lowest exchange rate, and your brother's account would be credited with the exchange amount in euros. So after receiving the transfer, he can then withdraw the funds from an anchor that supports euros and go living his bohemian lifestyle. So pretty much what you do is you have like real type fiat currencies, and then you change it into stellar lumens, where it's then transferred from one continent to the next, and then it's transferred back into fiat currency, in which it can be used in that area, and the value wouldn't be too much different. So it's pretty solid in terms of sending money from one place to another. And there's also a distributed exchange, as I mentioned right here, where Stellar also offers users the option of placing exchange orders into the public ledger to sell or buy other currencies. And it's pretty much just as like a forex type trading, so it's quite useful. And multi-currency transactions is pretty much the same thing. And yeah, so there was just one really good part over here. The final thoughts of this article. So is it, if Ripple was built for financial institutions and banking giants, then Stellar Lumens would go to work for the common man. So basically, Ripple is the same as Stellar in terms of what they're trying to achieve. It's just Ripple has a larger corporate focus than Stellar does, while Stellar has more of a an ethical common man focused standpoint. So in terms of bringing power to the people and having a more decentralized kind of structure, then Stellar is definitely the currency to invest in other than Ripple, even though they are quite alike. Cool, so let's go check out the Stellar website, and this basically just tells us all the basics of what Stellar does. So quite simply, it just moves money across borders quickly, reliably, and for the fraction of a penny. So there are fees, but it's very, very tiny, so I wouldn't even worry about it. And so the remittances is, you can send money across borders quickly at a fraction of a cent, and you get to facilitate low-cost payments between different countries. Then that's definitely positive. So that's what Ripple does. That's what Stellar does also. And we've got micropayments, and micropayments increases efficiency and decreases the cost of smaller transactions. So you basically can make small micropayments, and there won't be very much of a negative impact because there's really low fees, and so there is incentive to make microtransactions instead of like having to make big ones. And there are mobile branches, so you can get agencies with the banking advantage with the mobile branches, and you get to expand your retail operation without the overhead costs. This is basically like good for just small or just constantly moving kind of stores or retail stores for that as an example. And then we've also got the mobile money, which basically means you've got like your own little mobile wallet, which is pretty solid. And then you've got the services for the underbanked, and this basically seller cuts costs so you can bank new customers, reach the base of the pyramid with low cost accounts, loans, and micro savings. So it's just a solid currency for almost everyone to use. It's just tailored in every way that anyone can kind of use this service with the Stellar Lumen cryptocurrency. And there's customizable payment structures where the transaction is decentralized and the network resolves transactions in about 2 to 5 seconds. So that's very, very fast. In fact, it's just as fast as Ripple as well. And so getting started on the network with friendly developer softwares and tools. So it basically has the smart contract tools as well, which I'll actually bring you guys over to this post here, which gives you guys the full features and specifications. It's got the transaction time, supports thousands of transactions per second, so it's got pretty solid scalability in terms of technology as well because it runs servers. So basically, it can increase with potential based on how well we can increase our technology in the human world. And so it can send or trade any currency, asset, or token, which is great. So it can work with basically a smart contract kind of platform. And it's got the multi-sig as well. Not too sure what that actually is, but it's decentralized and distributed. And yeah, so I just want to bring you guys to a little bit of the positives, the pros and cons over here. So the pros pretty much just cover what we've all covered. So it's there's low fees. It's got large amounts of partnerships because it is a very transparent and solid company. Again, fast transactions. It also has a forex trade pretty much, and yep, and the Stellar networks are fast and scalable. So it's a pretty solid currency and company in general, where they're transparent and just great. And I just want to bring you guys to the cons as well. there's 18 million tokens in circulation, but there is a total of 100 billion tokens, like as the max supply. And so experts fear that at this rate there are 85 billion tokens, which could devalue the current tokens in circulation, and pretty much that could be a problem, especially for all you Stellar holders or potential holders. So in my opinion, that is something to worry about, but I'm sure that it wouldn't really be an issue because the Stellar Lumens company wouldn't want to do that to the supporters, because when you basically buy the Lumens XLM coin, you're basically supporting the Stellar company itself, and they wouldn't want to really do that to supporters, especially considering they're very ethical and transparent in terms of the way they run everything that they do pretty much. And so that's all I've got today for this video. If you have any questions or any statements to make, definitely chuck it in the comments below. And that's all, so cheers.